I'm Louis Barty, and I will be presenting the different types of sport injuries that affect athletes. So, all right. So, have you ever experienced an injury or witnessed it? It's not the prettiest thing, and it's the last thing that you want that will happen for your child or a relative. We all want our children to be active in America, but we do not want them to become injured. But with sports comes injuries. So it is very important that we know how to treat these injuries in the future or how to prevent these injuries. All right, so the importance to know about injuries. So we as coaches, teachers, or parents can help prevent these injuries, whether it's ice in an injury or an ankle or ice in the knee or just those simple things. Uh, and we can personally treat these injuries. This is important because as coaches are around athletes more than parents are coming up throughout high school or even in college. Uh, Coaches would be able to see signs and symptoms of maybe a concussion, and they can help take actions and prevent these things from happening until they get a necessary physician or a doctor to help uh, take care of the athlete until then. All right, so talk about some of the women and men body structures. All right, so women are more prone to injury than men. Most probably wouldn't think so because men are very active and in the sports that they play or especially like football are very made contact. But women, they have their joints and shoulders and knees are much weaker than men's because they have looser supporting tissues than men have. Women have a higher rate of injuring ligaments in the knee, such as the most common is the ACL injury. It is significantly higher than in men than in women. But with the proper training and strengthening of this ligament, uh, will help prevent this injury from happening with female athletes. Uh, Female athletes, though, will do have more endurance than male athletes, and they're able to finish marathons. If you notice, finish marathons more than or faster than men will. Females also have a larger pelvis area, and they have a lower center of gravity, and this benefits them more because they have a better balancing than men have. Males will tend to have bad ankles because they're carrying more body mass than some women, and they're making sharp cuts and turns. And women will tend to wear knee braces if you notice in sports because they're to prevent an ACL injury or they're trying to prevent one from happening. But this is actually making their knees weaker because their knee is used to having the support of the knee brace. So, all right. So some most common injuries in football. Uh, some knee injuries, as you would think, would be are the most common injury in football. From cutting and then guys hitting them in the low areas to tackle them. Shoulder injuries are another common injury as they're using their shoulders to make contact to tackle defenders as well as throwing the football with a lot of force. Concussions will always be a common injury because they're tackling with their head, and tackling with their head can result in being paralyzed or a broken neck. My uncle he is paralyzed from the neck down because he tackled incorrectly, and this could bring lawsuits to schools or the coach if they haven't been teaching the proper technique at practice. Heat injuries are very, very common because they can also suffer from heat exhaustion and heat strokes. But this can be prevented if the coaches and players are hydrating while at practice, drinking the proper amount of water that they should be drinking. So some most common injuries that happen in basketball are sprains to the ligaments or tear or partial tear of the ligaments. And you see most common boys with 44%, 0.6%, and females have 44.2%. Some strains to complete tear of a muscle or a tendon, you see 13% in boys, but higher in females, 16%. Because as I said, women have looser and weaker tendons than males have. So injuries in the ankle or foot, 38%, 0.3% in boys and 36% in females. And they just come from the males jumping a lot. Knee injuries, boys have 10.3% and the women have 13%. And this is the same as well as women from weaker ligaments in their knee, resulting in those ACL tears. And forearm and wrist and hand, 11.5% in boys and 11.2% in women. Most common injuries that happen in soccer, lower extremity injuries that happen mostly are the knee injuries, and this results in ACL sprains. Some may have overuse of lower extremity injuries, and this can be from shin splints, where it happens in the lower leg into the calf, patellar tendonitis, and this is where their knee aches a whole bunch. Wrist sprains, wrist fractures, and shoulder dislocations also are common in soccer because there is no protection equipment. There's just their body, a t-shirt, and a lot of contact being made in between each other. And a lot of shoulder dislocations happen in female athletes in soccer. Head, neck, and face injuries, that happens a whole lot because of no protection in the face that is worn. A lot of cuts, bruises, neck sprains, and as you can guess, concussions being number one with no protection and a lot of headbutting to the ball, trying to get goals, headbutting the ball. In the youth, they stop letting kids headbutt the ball because it causes a lot of concussions in the past. So a lot of effects from these injuries. Most cannot work an everyday job where they may have a lot of headaches, migraines, can't stand too long because of a past ACL injury. Some may have a bad back, some neck may hurt, so they may have to always take a break or probably just can't complete a shift. A lot suffer from PTSD. Some athletes will suffer from headaches regularly. This can be from football mainly, and they just have headaches throughout the day. Some athletes will have short-term memory loss, problem paying attention, and you can imagine from those from having concussions. Slide into the video. And I have a short video of some injuries in action. You can see a nasty injury.
Lattimore down, and Lattimore's hurt. Oh no. Marcus Lattimore holding his right knee. It was his left knee that he injured last year about this time against Mississippi State. Tore his ACL. Missed the rest of the season.
And then the next injury is he suffered a right broken leg. Paul George.
Stay healthy. Well, George suffering what appears to be an injury. We're not going to speculate as to the extent of it right now, as the athletic training staff will now tend to him. Feeling, Mark. Unfortunately, this might be serious. Yeah, this is unfortunately part of the reality of playing basketball. Whether you are working out on your own,
you can see that
whether you are
this would really affect someone. And surprisingly, he was able to come back and play basketball and still playing now. But he says he still isn't moving the same. Because he's scared, because he feels that he might break it again. And that will conclude my presentation.